Welcome to the Robbins Regional Wrap, your one-stop shop for all your Houston County news. I'm Megan Western. Each week we're taking you through what's happening in Houston County, Warner Robins, Robins Air Force Base, and your very own neighborhood. And this week, many of you voted to keep the same mayoral leadership across Houston County. Warner Robins voters re-elected Mayor LaRhonda Patrick, defeating challenger Fabian Velasquez. With all precincts reporting Patrick earned more than 79% of the vote. Patrick says she plans to continue upgrading the city's technology, help neighbors struggling with inflation by keeping taxes low, and push for a new downtown district. She also shared some of her new goals, including an on-demand shuttle transportation and community renovation.
Council and I have some really great plans when it comes to on-demand shuttle transportation. Transportation is something we're hearing a lot about as a need in our community. Also, the Perkins Fields renovations, bringing an amphitheater, a small community one. Also, a renovation to the Civic Center and creating a new activity center and senior center through renovating the old rec department. And lastly, looking forward to the new animal shelter. That'll be in partnership with the Houston County and also the city of Centerville.
Now, as votes were coming in, we talked with challenger Fabian Velasquez. He told us he's proud of the conversations his campaign started, and he hopes to see continued growth in transportation in the city's future. Now, over in Perry, Randall Walker won re-election as mayor. He beat opponent Christopher Smith by 309 votes, around 8.5%. In an interview during the campaign, Walker said he's proud of his administration and how they've handled the city's growth, but he's also committed to preserving the character of downtown Perry, calling it the heart and soul of the city. Walker says he'll continue focusing on smart growth and community development as Perry continues to expand.
We have a strategic plan in place. We're going to follow that in our capital improvement plan. We'll be working on our infrastructure. We'll be finishing up our new wastewater treatment plant and also working on the roads throughout the city.
Now, this wasn't the only race settled in Perry. The District 1 council chair seat was won by Amy Faust. She defeated incumbent Phyllis Bynum Grace by 110 votes. Perry's District 3 chair seat was kept by incumbent Daryl Alberton. He's beat opponent Eugene Triplett by 474 votes. Now, if you live over in Fort Valley, prepare to hit the polls again because the mayoral race is headed to a runoff. Incumbent Mayor Jeffrey Lundy will face off against challenger Shakina Reeves since neither scored more than 50% of the vote. Lundy spoke on his plans for the continued campaign ahead of this December runoff.
We're going to keep the momentum. We're going to stay in neighborhoods. We're going to be talking and meeting and ask people to listen, make a choice so that we can continue to grow Fort Valley and move Fort Valley.
Now, we also reached out to challenger Shakina Reeves, who led Lundy by more than 180 votes. She sent us a statement saying in part, quote, "We are back at it again for a second win." And Houston County is facing a second federal lawsuit over how it elects county commissioners. This comes after the U.S. Justice Department withdrew from a similar case earlier this year. The Southern Poverty Law Center filed the complaint last week, claiming the county's voting system violates the Voting Rights Act. Hunter King explains why it was filed and what's at stake.
Two Houston County voters are suing over how the county elects its commissioners. Jacqueline Rozier and Haram Morgan, both black residents of Warner Robins, filed a lawsuit with the help of the Southern Poverty Law Center. The case challenges the county's at-large election system.
Each member is elected in what are called at-large elections, which means that all voters in the county participate in the election for each member of the county.
Think of it like this. An at-large election is similar to fans picking its all-star team by having every fan vote for every player. The biggest city would have the most fans, so their favorites are more likely to get spots. Smaller cities don't get represented even if they have great players. The lawsuit says that's essentially what's happening in Houston County. Black voters make up about 32% of the voting age population, but the complaint says they haven't elected a preferred candidate to the county commission since 1988.
It usually ends up happening where the minority community is unable to elect any candidates of their choice or preference to the office in question.
The SPLC wants the county to switch to single-member districts. That would divide the county into 5 separate districts, with each district electing its own commissioner.
The benefit of having a system like that is that within each district, the population within that district has the ability to elect the candidates that they prefer and candidates that potentially reflect their interests and their values.
The case is just beginning, but Sani says these lawsuits require extensive expert analysis and historical testimony, which will take place in the coming months. In Houston County, Hunter King, 13 WMAZ News.
The Justice Department filed a similar lawsuit in January but withdrew in March. 2 private plaintiffs continued that case and it remains pending in federal court. The next regular elections for Houston County Commission seats are scheduled for 2026 and 2028. We reached out to the Houston County Board of Elections for comment but have not heard back. We also did not hear back from the county attorney. And we've learned the name of the 26-year-old man who was stabbed and killed in Warner Robins last weekend. His family identifies him as Dominique McKenzie. Warner Robins police have not yet confirmed his name, saying the case appears to be related to domestic violence. Elizabeth Hunter was there where neighbors shared what they saw and heard.
17 lives taken this year in Houston County, 14 of them due to family violence.
Just hope we can put a stop to a lot of violence, make a change around here for the better.
Jaldashan Respress has lived in the Westwood apartment complex for over a year. He says it was a shock to come home from work and see the scene.
And I just noticed a lot of police out in the back. I peeped out the window just to look and see. I seen maybe like 5 or 6 police cars, and I just seen a little caution tape.
Respress says crime like that is abnormal for his neighborhood.
We just have a lot of people like breaking in cars and stuff, kind of like the norm around Warner Robins, but for like a high crime rate over here, we really don't have too much of that.
Several neighbors say they heard Dominique McKenzie and his female partner arguing and yelling not long before police showed up around 11:30 p.m.
It was a boyfriend and girlfriend, and that the boyfriend was stabbed and as a result died from his injuries.
Houston County Sheriff Matt Moulton says this weekend's stabbing adds to the alarming number of family violence homicides.
It's up on the high end for us. We typically average 7 to 10 homicides a year.
Moulton says so far their Crime Stoppers family violence tip line has been successful, but the problem clearly isn't stopping, so they are taking it a step further.
We are also working on an app that can be downloaded and installed on a cell phone device, and through that app, people can anonymously report acts of family violence.
Moulton says they hope to launch the app by the start of 2026. In Warner Robins, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
Houston County Coroner James Williams says the body is at the GBI Crime Lab in Macon for an autopsy. And Warner Robins police are now turning to the public again, hoping someone holds the key to solving a 2018 murder. The shooting inside Barberitos off Watson Boulevard took the life of a young employee and left his family searching for answers. Jasmine Lee sat down with Parker Moore's mother, who says she won't stop fighting until her son's killer is found.
One of my happy places.
7 years later, Leah Moss still starts her days here, a wall filled with pictures of her son, Parker.
Bye-bye, Parker. Wait, bye-bye.
Moments frozen in time, pieces of a life cut short.
Somebody knows. Somebody knows.
Police say in January 2018, a man walked into the Barberitos on Watson Boulevard, demanded money, and shot 2 employees. One of them was Parker Moore, who died at the scene. They say the shooter ran out the back door. Moss says it never gets easier, knowing her son never got justice.
I never in a million years would have dreamed that this would have been our lives, our reality. Parker's reality.
A grand jury indicted Daniel Bruce France in Moore's death, but Houston County District Attorney Eric Edwards says last year his office sent the case back to Warner Robins Police for further investigation. He says they thought there wasn't enough evidence in the case. Leah Moss says she won't give up on justice, but she doesn't want her son remembered only for how he died.
He had the most giving heart of anyone I've ever known. He would do anything for anyone. Give you the shirt off his back in a millisecond.
Police say they're still searching for information that could solve the case. There's an $8,000 reward for any tips. And as Leah Moss looks at her son's smile on that wall, she's hoping someone, somewhere, holds the answer. Reporting in Warner Robins, Jasmine Lee, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, we asked DA Edwards if he believed that Franz committed the crime, but he declined to comment. You can call Macon Regional Crime Stoppers with any information related to the case. That number at the bottom of your screen, 1-877-68-CRIME. And this week, the federal government shutdown became the longest in U.S. history, breaking the previous record set back in 2019. With all the uncertainty with paychecks and SNAP benefits, one Houston County business is stepping up to make sure that people stay fed in November. Elizabeth Hunter stopped by the business to see how they're helping.
Trick-or-treating looks a little different this year.
So they'll get a whole meal ready to prepare.
Bags are being filled, but not with candy, with non-perishable food.
We're putting the bags together for them, delivering them if needed.
Maximum One Realty and Warner Robins launched their Boo Away Hunger Drive this week. Organizer Tracy Foster says the response has been more than she ever imagined.
This is our community, giving back to our community.
She says they have received hundreds of donations and have already helped dozens of families.
It's heartwarming when they come in and you know that they're in need, and then they leave with bags of groceries, and they're so thankful that they get to go home and make a meal.
Foster says they know even more people will be in need if SNAP benefits are cut off in November. She says they started as a Halloween initiative, but they plan to keep going.
For as long as the shutdown is, until they can get their act together.
Jada Relaford is furloughed from her job as a contract specialist at Robins Air Force Base. She says her family hasn't had to use outside resources yet, but many colleagues aren't as lucky.
They've had to, reach out for assistance with food, with paying their bills.
She says this is the first time she's seen a shutdown affect people she knows, which made her want to step up and help.
And I can't even imagine where I would be or my family.
In Warner Robins, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
Foster says the most needed donations are items with protein like peanut butter, canned meats, and ready, easy meals like Hamburger Helper. If you would like to make donations or are in need for food, you can call that number that's coming up on the bottom of your screen, 478-365-9325. And the Houston County School District says they're serving up more free meals as applications for their free meal program grow. Elizabeth Hunter explains how the district and its nutrition director are keeping breakfast and lunch trays full.
Have a good lunch, sweetheart.
Paychecks may be blank, but the Houston County School District is making sure lunch trays stay full.
It's more than feeding kids. It's about creating an environment where students can be successful.
The school district has 40 sites that serve breakfast and lunch, but only 31 of those offer free breakfast and lunch to students.
We do have 9 schools in our district that do not qualify for the community eligibility provision.
The community eligibility provision program is funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Students get free breakfast and lunch meals if their school is in the program. For the 9 schools that do not qualify, parents have to submit applications individually.
Parents would qualify based on income.
Meredith Potter, Director of School Nutrition, says they have seen a huge spike in applications since October 1st.
We have been able to process over 200 students and extend those meal benefits to them.
Potter says they are processing applications within 48 hours to make sure students are getting help as soon as possible. Bonnie Brown, coordinator for the Lindsay Student Support Center, says they are seeing food pantry registrations rise as well.
Over the past 2 weeks, I've registered about 27 people. So it's a big increase.
Brown says the food pantry is ready to hand out a bag of food per week to any family that needs it.
There is a lot more food insecurity out there than people realize. And, we're here to help families get over the hump.
In Houston County, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
The Lindsay Student Support Center food pantry is open every Tuesday and Thursday from noon until 5. Take a look at your screen. There's the information for you. They're holding a registration event from 5:30 to 7 p.m. on Monday, November 10th. If you do need to register, they're located on Tabor Drive. And of course, if you're a parent looking to apply for the free meal program, you can stop by the Houston County School Nutrition Office or fill out an application online at schoollunchapp.com. And the Houston County Humane Society says the federal government shutdown is driving more pet owners to abandon their cats and dogs. According to the ASPCA, during the 35-day shutdown in 2018, animal abandonment rose 40%. Elizabeth Hunter talked with the Humane Society about what they're seeing.
forced with the decision to feed yourself or feed your furry friend.
They don't have the money to take care of the dogs.
Amanda Sims is a volunteer at the Houston County Humane Society. She says the longer the shutdown lasts, the more people face the reality that they no longer can afford their pet.
When people can't afford their animals and there's nowhere to surrender them because everybody's full, they just, dump them out.
Sims says last October they saw around 20 dog abandonments. This year, that number nearly doubled.
We've probably taken in for October at least 30 or 40.
She says just this week they took in 8 abandoned dogs.
People come from God knows where and they just dump animals. Monday, I had a litter of 5 puppies.
Sims says the biggest reason people give for surrendering pets is cost. Alan Smith, Houston County's Director of Animal Services, says they are hearing daily from people wanting to surrender pets.
We average anywhere between 10 and 12 calls a week for people wanting to rehome, rehouse, or just turn in their animals.
He also says cost is a main reason, but they try to reroute owners to another option. Sims says the Humane Society is willing to help pet owners get by providing food or supplies.
Rescues are more willing to help you keep your dog than for you to go dump it and abandon it, and then us trying to clean up the mess afterwards.
In Houston County, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, there are a few ways that you can help. You can donate pet food or supplies. The Humane Society says even one bag of dog or cat food can keep a pet in a home instead of a shelter. You can also become a foster. Vets say temporary fosters help open kennel space and keep animals safe while owners get back on their feet. And most Central Georgia counties do encourage owners to spay and neuter their animals to help shelter crowding long term. Of course, if you need direct help or want to donate, you can reach out to the Houston County Humane Society at 478-599-0211. And more than 3,800 civilian workers at Robins Air Force Base have been furloughed during the shutdown, and many of those families are struggling to put food on the table. In Perry, faith is filling the gap. Hunter King has the story.
On a Sunday morning in Perry, Pastor Rayfield Boyd and his wife April aren't just preaching about faith, they're putting it in a bag.
I thought it was a fantastic idea, something that we can do for the community.
Inside each furlough blessing bag, breakfast items, dinner staples, and snacks for school lunches. Simple things that mean everything when you don't know where your next paycheck is coming from. Michael Lee knows that feeling. He's one of the furloughed workers. But the bag he's holding isn't for him, it's for a friend.
This person that this is for is on government assistance. And not knowing where or how when the next check is going to come in.
It's a real problem.
Gabriel and Regina Osiris aren't as fortunate. They're furloughed too, and they have children to feed.
The people who need help now have been working all their lives.
Amen.
This is not something that they're used to getting or receiving. They're used to being the ones who are given the help, not the ones who are in need of help.
In Houston County, where so many depend on Robins Air Force Base, the shutdown isn't just a headline. It's a neighbor without groceries, a friend who can't get medicine, a family wondering how they'll make it through another week. But it's also this, a church that refuses to just pray about it.
Everyone doing their little part helps a little bit more.
One bag at a time. Reporting in Perry, Hunter King, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, the Winning Church South helps other churches, businesses, and nonprofits, and they hope that they will join in on this effort. And right now, many families are turning to food pantries to help fill those gaps, as you saw. Connor Hendricks talked to 2 of them who say they're having to prepare for increased demand with less food to go around.
This is the lowest our canned goods have ever been. Ever.
The shelves are looking a little bare these days at the Well in Centerville, but Food Pantry Director Sherry Cox's heart is full.
I work harder now as a volunteer than when I was in the military, but I love every minute.
The Well usually serves around 300 families a month, but Cox says with the federal government shutdown and concerns about a lapse in SNAP food assistance, that number could nearly double next month.
Probably right around 500 to 600 families.
Cox says even without the shutdown, it's gotten harder to meet the need because the USDA is sending less these days to food banks, which is who she orders from. Cox says she used to be able to choose from 75 to 100 items to stock these shelves.
This last time that I ordered food, there were only 33 items that I could pick from. And unfortunately, They were things like Kleenexes and stuff like that. Kleenexes don't go too well in the stomach. We need food.
Food from the USDA used to make up half of the food that Cox can distribute, but it now makes up less than 5%.
I feel for the people coming through that I can't even put a loaf of bread on their table.
I get so much in that I can't store it.
Doug Smith runs the food pantry at Free Point Church in Perry. He says his situation isn't as dire as others.
Because we're not as frequent, we're doing great. The room behind me is only 10 by 14, but you can't see the floor.
Smith says he still needs to be able to find around 500 pounds of meat before distributing food next month.
It is a scramble, but I'll make it work, you know, and we don't, our recipients never complain.
Cox says she has total faith everything will work out next month. Nothing, not even her personal battle with lung cancer, will stop her from trying to fill stomachs and hearts.
Every morning that I wake up, I'm just glad God gave me another day on this earth to do what he needs. But I know where I'm going, so it's going to be all right.
Kathy McCollum with the Middle Georgia Community Food Bank says they're getting less food right now because of a change in federal funding priorities. She says these changes happen when a new presidential administration takes over. But because of the shutdown, the people that take their orders aren't working right now. That means they'll see delays from that starting in a few weeks. If you or someone you know needs help finding food, the Middle Georgia Community Food Bank has a list of pantries on their website. And there are several resources for Central Georgians looking for some food assistance right now as the shutdown continues. The Middle Georgia Community Food Bank has partnered with over 200 agencies, from soup kitchens to emergency shelters, to provide food to families in need. You can find food assistance in your area by visiting their website. That's on the bottom of your screen right now, mgcfb.org. If you're looking to help, the city of Warner Robins has launched a food drive. You can bring non-perishable food items plus paper goods and baby supplies to any Warner Robins fire station. That includes Station 8 in Bonaire. They're collecting donations Monday through Friday from 8 in the morning to 7 p.m. Now, of course, ahead of the holiday season, you can help keep meals on the table with our Stuff the Truck event. We have all the information you need to get involved. Text the word truck to 478-752-1309. We'll send the dates, times, and locations right to your phone.
And then,
In the Houston County Sheriff's Office is getting a new look for the first time in 50 years. The deputies now have new uniforms. The change comes after the manufacturer of their traditional French blue pants stopped making them. The new uniform features khaki green shirts and forest green pants, a fresh style but with the same focus on quality of service.
It's a new look for the Houston County Sheriff's Office by far. It's not what we've seen in the past. But the same standard of care, the same standard of professionalism none of that's changing.
Sheriff Matt Moulton says the change has been well received and the new uniforms keep deputies easily recognizable out in the community. Of course, before we let you go, let's go ahead and get a look at the events happening throughout the Robins region. This weekend, the Warner Robins Homeless Shelter needs your help. They're asking volunteers to meet on Saturday, November the 8th, to help get the space ready. They need about 40 people to help prepare Haven Hope House. You'll put together bunk beds, sort and box clothing, and some other light tasks. We told you earlier in the week that council approved the assembly at Warner Robins Church to run Haven Hope House. You can volunteer from 9 until 3 on Saturday at 800 Watson Boulevard. And if you or a loved one has served our country, Warner Robins wants to celebrate you this Veterans Day. You're invited to a free breakfast Tuesday morning, November the 11th at 9:30 at the Wellston Center on Maple Street. You do need to register for that. You can do that on the Visit Warner Robins page. Here's a video of last year's event. You can also stick around for the city's Veterans Day ceremony at 11 outside of City Hall on Watson Boulevard. That's what you're looking at right now from last year. It's a chance to honor our veterans and the families who support them every step of the way. Also on Veterans Day, the Pond Restaurant is serving veterans with a $15 all-you-can-eat buffet. It's from 11:30 until 1:30. You do need to reserve your seat and bring your military ID. You can find them over on Moody Road. And are you ready to make some fall memories with your family? Pack up the kids and grab those sleeping bags. It's time for the Fall Family Camp Out. You can camp out under the stars at the North Houston Sports Complex Friday, November the 14th. It all kicks off at 5 p.m. It wraps up Saturday morning at 9. From stargazing with the Middle Georgia Astronomical Society to campfire snacks, this is your chance for a night of fun and togetherness. Make sure you bring your tent and sign up in person at the North Houston Sports Complex. It's $25 per family for Warner Robins for folks who live in the city, and $30 if you live in the county. How about some Thanksgiving bingo with cats? Mark it on your calendar, November 15th at 6:30. There are a few more spots available. You can head over to the Pause a While Cat Cafe for 6 regular bingo games in the Cat Lounge. There will be even small prizes for the winners. Tickets are $27. You can get them at the website that you're seeing on your screen. Well, you're not seeing it, but you can get it on their website. Of course, that is a wrap on what's happening throughout the Robbins region this week. If you have a Houston County story you want us to share, email us at news@13wmaz.com, and make sure you keep coming back each week for all of the stories that matter to you. Thanks for joining us.